Very good. Well, welcome to the virtual college exploration for all North and South Carolina transfer students. Thank you so much for joining us. Just a quick few housekeeping announcements before we go ahead and get started. You can use the Q&A button on your screen to type your answers to our presenters at any time during the presentation. That is going to be located typically at the bottom of your screen. Your camera and your microphone are off, so the panelists are not able to see you or hear you. This is just one of many different sessions happening throughout the next couple weeks, so be sure to check out the full schedule at CACRAO.org. This presentation is being recorded and will be available within about a week at that same exact website. So CACRAO, CACRAO.org. And I will go ahead and turn it over to our panelists.
Hi, my name is Savannah Oxner, and I am a Associate Director of Admissions Operations at Sweetbriar College. We are so glad to have you here today for our presentation on Fit How to Choose the Right School for You. I just want to go ahead and say outright, if it helps you to take a screenshot at any time, we wanted to make it as easy as possible for you to keep track of information. And I want to go ahead and introduce our panelist. So we have Penelope Doss, who is the Transfer Student Coordinator and Financial Aid Counselor at Randolph College, Susan Hogg, who is the Associate Director for Admissions at University of Lynchburg for transfer students as well, Madeline Aliff, who is the Director of Recruitment at Holland University, and again, I am Savannah at Sweetbriar. So we are so glad that you're here today. We have some great information for you. Here is a quick agenda of what we're going to cover. What are the questions that you can ask to ensure you're going to find the best fit in your transfer? What's the basic information that everybody should know about transferring? The application process need to know. How can you understand financial aid and how important that is? A few general tips for transferring to make that process as easy as possible for you. We're all open for visits, so we'll go over that with you as well. And then just a couple last slides to go over all the big details that we've gone over today. So, and then of course, Q&A, we'll leave you some time to ask questions if there's anything that you're still curious about when we're done. So to get us started, we all agree that there are some great questions that you should be asking to make sure you're going to find the best place for you to transfer to, whether you're coming from a community college, going to a four-year school, or looking to transfer from one four-year school to another. And the biggest thing is to start off, how big of a school are you looking for? We are all small, private, liberal arts colleges. We all can tell you about the benefits of being in small classes, the kind of one-on-one attention you're going to get there. There's a huge difference in being in a classroom where there are 50 or 100 other students to being in a classroom where there are less than 20 students like you. And so we're all encouraging you, look at small schools, look at the kind of one-on-one attention you're going to get in small schools. Another important thing is, do they have my programs? I would encourage you to keep an open mind about this, maybe have a few things that you're looking for instead of just one item. And the reason there is most students change their major multiple times in college, and you don't want to get somewhere and only that one major that you were looking for, you're not interested in anything else anymore. So keep a few options open there. New career fields are developing all the time, and there are lots of different majors that will be able to make you versatile for all different career fields. How much is it going to cost? Is it affordable? A lot of students don't realize this, but private colleges are affordable. We can be just as affordable as a public school, and you're going to graduate on time because you're not fighting to get into those classes that you need. So don't look at that price and think, oh, I can't afford it. None of us have application fees. None of us are going to charge you to go through and see all of that. So you can see just how affordable we are, and you don't have to spend money to see how affordable we are. How far from home are you comfortable being? So none of us are too far away. We have a handy little map that we'll show you later, but we're all a little ways up the road in Virginia, pretty close to each other. So if you wanted to come visit, it'd be easy to visit all of us. And but think about how far away you're willing to be, and maybe you want to be able to come home every few weekends. Your mom probably doesn't want you to bring laundry every time, but you could. So think about how far from home you're willing to be. Will you be able to get housing? So all of us guarantee housing. We'll all work with you depending on your age and situation to make sure that you have somewhere that you can live. Some of us have a few different options for that, but do check on that. Are you going to be able to find housing? You don't want to get into a situation where you have to look off campus and worry about different rent and worry about a lot of different things. It's a lot easier to be on campus and taken care of as a student. Can you have a car? Yes. And we're not going to charge you an arm and a leg to park it either. That's another thing that you want to check into with some of those big schools. It could be $500 a semester to park your car. So some of us, we have parking fees, but I promise you they're not going to be a car payment by themselves. What is student life like? What do you want to do outside of class to have fun? Are there clubs? Are there the things that you want to get involved into? So explore the student life. Does it seem to match the types of things that you're interested in doing? If there's a club that you want to be part of that doesn't exist yet, don't use that as a reason, because you could start that club. But in general, like, does the student body seem like somewhere that you could fit in? Have you visited and met with people? There's a lot of things you can do to see, like, could I be home somewhere? Will you be able to get a job and earn work study? All of us allow you to work on campus. There are usually multiple different places where you can work on campus. Sometimes that's guaranteed and part of your financial aid, but even if it's not, usually you can find a job and work on campus. And I know that's important to a lot of students. And will you be able to play sports? Yes, all of us have opportunities for athletics. So, look into that, reach out, ask to be connected with coaches, ask to be connected with players. All of us are happy to make those connections so you can get to know those students better and the programs. And then some big questions to ask about transferring. All colleges have slightly different requirements and numbers for how many credits they're going to allow to transfer in, but generally it needs to be at least a C. It needs to be an accredit from a regionally accredited community college or college. You need to be in good academic and financial standing to be able to transfer your credits. All of us will go over at the end. We've got different limits for how many you can transfer in, but it's roughly the same. It's at least 60 for all of us. And so check into that. You want to be sure that you can transfer most of those credits that you've earned. How are they going to transfer? All of us will put together a full transfer credit evaluation if you send us your transcript, so we can show you, here's what's transferring, here's where it's transferring, here's my standing, here's which courses are going to be covered as far as, like, I've checked this box, I'm done with that. We can all take care of that for you. And that's another service that you definitely want to reach out and ask colleges for when you're looking to transfer to them is, what's going to come with me? Because you've worked hard to earn those credits and you want to be able to use as many of them as possible. It can vary as far as your academic standing. If you're coming from a community college or if you're coming from early college at a high school, you're usually going to come in either as a sophomore or a junior with your academic standing. But most of us know that you haven't actually lived on a college campus before. So socially and housing wise, we're probably going to treat you as a first year student so that you're getting all of that learning how to be on a college campus. Will you be eligible for scholarships? Yes, all of our transfer students, for all of us, are eligible for scholarships. We award those based on your merit, on what you're coming in with, and we all offer need aid as well based on your FAFSA. And Penelope will be talking more about financial aid in just a minute. And then what about honors? So most of us are going to be inviting you into an honors program again at the time that you're accepted. If you're not invited and you want to opt in, we all have programs that you can opt into to get that extra challenge. So that's another great opportunity there. And again, just want to put it out there. Ask for a transfer credit evaluation. All of us provide that free of charge to our students. We want to make it transparent. We want to make it easy for you. If there are other schools that you're looking at, please reach out to them and see what their process is. All right, I'm going to turn it over to Madeline now to talk about the application process.
Wonderful. Well, thanks so much for joining us. As Savannah said, my name is Madeline. Let's talk a little bit about the application process. Obviously, step one is going to be submitting that application. All of our schools are on the Common Application. Some schools might have their own app as well. After you submit the application, you'll want to look at those supporting documents. Of course, a college transcript will be really important to send. Again, actually, all of us allow unofficial college transcripts from the start. And then some of us might, in addition, require a letter of recommendation or test scores. You'll want to look at fees too. So for us, as Savannah has mentioned, it's free to apply. You might have to pay a fee to send an official college transcript, but other than that, again, hopefully for most of your schools, it won't be too hefty of a charge. And of course, you want to check out deadlines for all of your schools. Some of them might have really specific deadlines. For all of us, we're actually rolling admission. That means as you get all of your materials in, we make a decision and you have one within a few weeks. So it's a pretty quick turnaround, which is great as well. Congrats, you've been accepted. So we'll knock on wood, you get your acceptance letter. What happens next? You really want to get to know a little bit more about those institutions. Certainly do some, virtual opportunities, or if you can come visit it in person, you can reach out to coaches, to professors, to current students, just get a sense of the community that you're looking into. We know that scholarships and financial aid can be really important to a lot of our families, which we're going to go into a little more detail there, but definitely start looking at other scholarships and ways to apply. And then, of course, when you've decided you found the right fit, you'll pay that enrollment fee and kind of move forward from there. Speaking of scholarships and financial aid, we'll take that on there.
All right, thank you. And Penelope, what can you tell us about financial aid and paying for college?
Hi, everyone. This is Penelope from Randolph College. So the first thing in financial aid is to do your FAFSA. That's your free application for federal student aid. You cannot have student loans, and you cannot get a Pell Grant, and you cannot get need-based aid without submitting a FAFSA. So do that, and you can do it now. The new FAFSA opened up October 1st. If you've never done a FAFSA before, which sometimes students have not, if they're an adult student or at a community college, then ask for help. Your admissions counselor is happy to help you with that. There's lots of questions, and there's very nice people on the FAFSA help page. They have a 1-800 number and a live chat, so don't be afraid to ask. Financial aid is not one size fits all. As you are considering the costs of different colleges, be sure to get an award letter from each college that you're considering. You do that by submitting your FAFSA. They will then grant you aid based on your GPA. Other qualifications, you may get aid based on the state or the region where you live. There's lots of factors that go into financial aid. Financial aid also depends on whether you're a dependent or independent student. You may have been a veteran, you may be an adult, you may have children, you may be homeless, lots of different life situations. All of those can affect your financial aid. And none of those are going to hurt you, but it just depends on your personal situation, what your financial aid is. So be sure to be open and honest, ask for help as needed, and get your FAFSA in as early as you can to all the schools you're applying for so that you can compare the costs. You cannot rule out any school until you have your award letter because you don't know what kind of aid they're going to give you. And your admission counselor is your advocate through this whole process. Admission counselors are not just number crunchers trying to get you to apply and come to their school. They really actually care about you and want to see you be successful. So ask them for help. That's what we do every day. Going to college and transferring requires a lot of documents. Please turn those in early or as quickly as you can. Your schools will communicate with you primarily through email. So make sure that you have a personal email, that you're not just using your old high school email or community college email. Have a personal, like a Gmail or something like that, where we can get in touch with you. Apply for outside scholarships. Applying for outside scholarships, if you need the money, is something you should do all the time, every month or every week or every holiday that you apply for a scholarship. It just takes a few minutes of your time, and you might surprise yourself with how many scholarships you get. If you don't know where to find scholarships, you can check a college's webpage under financial aid, ask your admission counselor for a list, or often it's on their webpage where you can find a scholarship. Finally, the last way that people pay for college is through loans and other sources. Loans start with the federal student loans. Then there's federal parent loans. Parents also have other sources of getting loans because they have credit. Most students do not have enough credit to get loans on their own without a cosigner, but it's possible. And again, you just need to ask if that's something that you need to do. There's also other scholarships and aid opportunities, again, through private schools that you just really need to explore through applying and going through the process and asking. Some schools might have a special award for students interested in a certain major or from a certain region or what have you. So be sure to ask. Don't ever rule a school out until you have that award letter.
Exactly. Thank you, Penelope. And I think all of us here would also like to point out that we all have slightly different costs as private colleges. Like I said, we're all still affordable, but we all offer competitive scholarships based on our tuition. So as you're looking at packages that come out, please make sure that you're comparing the cost and the scholarships to the overall cost, because you're going to see some big differences there. And we're all happy. That's one of the things that we're happy to do, is talk through those with you. All right. And Susan, if you could take over and give us some tips.
Sure. So my name is Susan Hogg, and I'm with the University of Lynchburg. And once you find that right fit, here are some academic tips for transferring. So the first thing you want to make sure is to reach out to your advisor. They are most often the first person that you talk to when you're on campus as a student. And they know a lot about the college. So they'll obviously probably make a plan for you of what you need to take to graduate. But they're also a great resource as far as maybe where the health center is, where the tutoring center is, what kind of a study abroad programs you might have. So make sure the advisor's always so helpful. Be sure to reach out to them. Also, be on top of your schedule. As a transfer student, you should know what credits you need and how many you need to graduate from your new school. And I can't stress that enough. Make sure you map out a plan for yourself. It may be helpful for staying on track for graduation. And I always use the story of my daughter who took community college classes her senior year. And this summer she took a public speaking class. Well, for whatever reason, the four-year school didn't see that, that she had taken public speaking, and they put it on her schedule. So again, you're not going to get duplicate credit if you've taken it at the community college and then you take it again at the four-year, you're basically taking the same class twice. So just be wary and aware of that. Check yourself. Advisors aren't perfect. Registrar's offices aren't perfect. Goal setting. Set some short and long-term goals to work towards at your new school. Set short goals, meaning I'm going to take 15 credit hours this semester and I want to make all B's. Maybe a long-term goal might be, you know, I want to get my bachelor's degree in 2 years. So whatever your goal is, make sure you do that for yourself. Definitely helpful. And hang in there. Transferring is scary and can be frustrating, but hang in there. You'll be given a great education with new opportunities. And one more thing I just want to say about that is, shoot, I forgot what I was going to say. But anyway, yeah, so it is just hang in there and we can move to the next slide. So social tips for transferring. Just make sure you say yes, take opportunities to go out with new people, participate in campus activities and events. So if you're, you know, invited to go to the Spanish club, go to the Spanish club. If there's a lunch for transfer students, make sure you go. If there's an athletic event someone asked you to go to those things. That definitely will help with that transition. The other thing is reach out. The best way to make friends is to reach out to new people. So if, for say, you're living in a dorm, knock on the person next to you and, you know, ask them if they want to go out with you or, you know, go to lunch with you or go study with you. You know, most of the time, students are going to appreciate you reaching out to them. If you're in the dining hall and you see someone eating alone, again, introduce yourself. It's just a great way to meet people, and I think it'll make your transition smoother. Again, I think those students would appreciate you reaching out. Getting on an on-campus job has many advantages. Not only will faculty and staff typically work with the student around their schedule, if they have a big project coming up or whatever, but it also is going to make you more comfortable on campus. You will get to know who works at the campus. You'll get to know other student workers. So definitely take advantage of that if you can. Again, taking advantage of school events, I can't stress that enough. You know, really go and attend those events on campus. It's really a great way. If there's a magician on campus or a hypnotist, go to those things, especially if they're transfer related. I would definitely do that. And then all of our schools have orientation and usually typically before school starts. Definitely go to that because this is an opportunity for you to learn other transfer students and to learn about your school. So don't skip the orientation. My best advice, don't skip the orientation. And then last, here's my tip for making sure this is the right fit. Do your homework, do a tour, visit, more specifically, visit us. Because you don't want to have to transfer again. That's all I have, Savannah. Thanks.
All right, Susan put it perfectly. To take us to the next section is how important it is to visit. All of us are open for visits. We want to tell you a little bit more about coming to our campuses. So Madeline, if you could start us off and tell us about visiting Hollins.
Absolutely. So Hollins University, we are located in Roanoke, Virginia. So Southwest Virginia, we're nestled in the Blue Ridge Mountains. We're only about 15 minutes from downtown, about 10 minutes from the mall and airport area. Really beautiful area to visit. We are an all-women's institution, so I'll put that plug in there. So for anyone that identifies as a young woman, I definitely recommend a visit. We are open for private, individual, socially distanced tours at this time. They are student-led tours, so you get to interact with students, kind of get a sense of the community here. Just some quick things about Hollins too. We have been ranked past, I guess, 5 years in the top 5 most politically active student bodies. So you'll find a very big social justice movement on campus, as well as student government. So in the top 10 most active student government. So if you like to lead and be a part of that, those are just some 2 great programs on campus. Again, $500 visit grant as well if you come visit. So I hope to see you all on campus.
All right, thank you, Madeline. And Penelope, what about Randolph?
So this is Randolph College. Again, thank you. Randolph College is a small liberal arts school. We're right smack in the middle of Lynchburg, Virginia on a 100-acre campus. So we're in a residential neighborhood, but it feels like, you know, we're out in the country. It's very nice. We have 30 majors and 43 minors, and we have 18 NCAA Division III athletic teams and a newly renovated athletic center. New for 2021-2022, Randolph is introducing a Take 2 curriculum where students will take just 2 classes at a time, 4 classes per semester, but you'll take 2 classes for 7 weeks, have 2 finals, and then take 2 more classes, and then take 2 more finals. So we're doing this to sort of ease the strain of college and give students hopefully a little time for athletics and you know, social activism and looking for jobs and internships and all the other really cool things that college students do. So we're really excited to be rolling that out next year. We are having in-person tours every day, and also virtual tours are being offered. I am a graduate of Randolph College, and I do sincerely love Randolph, and I'd love to tell you all about it.
Thank you, Penelope. And we are also open for visits at Sweetbriar. So just a little bit of background. We are also, like Hollins, a small private women's college. We are located about 15 minutes from Lynchburg, so very close to all of the other fantastic schools that are here today. We'll talk about this again later, but it's really easy to come visit all of us in a fell swoop. Ladies, definitely check out Hollins and Sweetbriar. We have a fairly large campus, so almost 3,000 acres. We are in the foothills of the Blue Ridge Mountains, so it is a beautiful campus with lots of trees and rolling hills. We have about 20 different programs of study and about 400 students. So our classes are small, they are close knit, generally less than 10 students per your average class. We also have pre-med, pre-vet, and pre-law, and an ABET accredited engineering program. And we have 7 Division III varsity sports. So lots of opportunities on our campus. Again, if there's a club that you want to start that doesn't exist, just a few friends and get it going. We are open daily for visits as well as personalized virtual tours. And then we have an open house coming up on November 14th. So if you want to come up and have a socially distanced open house, but maybe interact with some other students who are still shopping and trying to make decisions, an open house is a great time to come visit because you can interact with other prospective students as well. All right, and Susan, what about University of Lynchburg?
Yes, thank you. So Lynchburg is also in Lynchburg, Virginia, and we are known as one of the colleges that change lives. We're a small liberal arts college too, with over 40 majors and over 50 minors. We have about 2,000 undergraduate students, 1,000 grad students. Our average class size is about 16, and our faculty to student ratio is 11:1. And we like to say it's a place where you're going to get to know your professors and your professors are going to get to know you. And I know that's probably very true. I know that's true of all the other 3 schools too. But at Lynchburg, you're going to get a life-changing education at an affordable price. So literally just about an hour or 2 ago, this is hot off the presses today, we have reduced our total costs for the 2021-2022 academic year. So the average tuition for a transfer student, this includes room and board, is $24,000 a year. If you live off campus, it's going to be substantially less. So that's some good information. If you'd like to schedule a visit, you can do that. Go onto our website, admissions.lynchburg.edu, and you should be able to do that. And then the one other thing that makes us stand out, if you are interested in a doctorate in physical therapy or a physician's assistant program, we have direct admit pathways for those 2 graduate programs if you come in as a transfer student, but also some of our other programs like our MBA program, our athletic training program, our education and counseling program. So please come check us out, check all of us out. I think that you would really find one of our schools is a great place to call home. So thank you.
All right, thank you, Susan. And as I promised, we wanted to go over kind of a summary for all of us to make things easier. So here again is one of those slides that I would recommend screenshotting to help you to just be able to go back to later. So all of us have rolling deadlines for our applications. You can apply at any time, and we'll work with you once all of your applications complete. When none of us have application fees for first year or transfer students, so you don't have to spend any money to see what we can offer you. We do all have slightly different maximum transfer credits. So Holland's caps at 64, Randolph at 68, Sweetbriar caps at 60, and the University of Lynchburg at 76. And again, you can see exactly what's going to be eligible for transfer by doing one of those transfer credit evaluations. You can reach out to us if you need help finding the links and how to do that. But that is a free service that we all provide. We want to make this as transparent as easy for you as possible. For most of us, if you have roughly a 2.5 or 2.0 GPA, we are going to guarantee acceptance. I'm pretty sure that all of us, and correct me if I'm wrong, if you are coming from a regionally accredited community college with an associate's degree and at least a 2.5 GPA, then we guarantee acceptance and transfer. Anyone want to chime in and correct me on that? All right, I thought so. Every once in a while, I get a little bit backwards and have to ask, but I just wanted to check, so thank you. And then we do have slightly different general education programs, so I'm going to pause here and let everyone walk through this and talk about how that is fulfilled, starting with Madeline and Hollins.
Sure. So with our general education program, many times our transfer students come in with it being fulfilled through our transfer module. So again, we can kind of share that prior to your application process and going forward. If you did have some of the general education requirements needed, it's just like a liberal arts, like mini schools, where you'll be required to take kind of classes and a little bit of everything. But again, we find a lot of our transfer students have much of that completed prior to arrival.
Excellent, thank you. And Penelope, what about Randolph? How does your process work?
So Randolph College, we have a very traditional liberal arts curriculum, and we do have a gen ed program where you cannot just transfer in with your associates. There probably will be a few gaps, nothing that, is going to hold you back in any way. So it may be a language class, it may be taking a religious class, in English. So we advise everyone individually. You will know exactly during advising what you need to take in order to proceed.
Excellent, thank you. At Sweetbriar, we no longer have a general education program. We have a core program. So for first year students, it's 10 courses that you take over the course of 4 years. For our transfer students, if you're coming in and you've been on a standard transfer track, then you're going to be fulfilling those and they'll be equivalent. You may have to make up for 1 or 2, but for the most part, if you've been in a transfer track program, you're going to be able to come in and be exempt from most of those. And Madeline, Susan, what about at University of Lynchburg?
So at the University of Lynchburg, so this is I need to correct this because this is really for the Virginia students, and I believe that you all are North Carolina and South Carolina students. We will advise you individually, but again, if you're doing a traditional transferable associate's degree, the majority of your courses are going to come in. We don't take out-of-state associates as the same as we take in-state Virginia Community College associate degrees. So I probably should have changed that, but we will certainly work with you and make sure that you're meeting the requirements and you're not spending too much extra time. Hopefully no extra time here.
All right, thank you. And then just one more review slide. So we all offer merit scholarships, as I mentioned. We award these at the time that you're accepted. All of these are competitive based on what the overall cost of our admission is, or our tuition is. So when you see these numbers, they are reflective of what our tuition is, which varies a little bit, but again, it's going to be affordable. Do your FAFSA, get everything in. So each of us offers slightly different merit scholarships, but they're all based on your GPA, on the academic performance that you've held so far. We all offer need aid. We all need your FAFSA form in order to be able to award need aid. And we encourage everyone, as Penelope said, do your FAFSA. Even if you think you wouldn't get anything, you might. So get that FAFSA done. We all guarantee housing. We do have some different setups depending on age and family situation for some different students. But if you're interested in living on campus, if you're interested in using campus housing, please reach out to us. We can work with you. We can get you in touch with the right staff to see what we can do. If you do have a special situation and need something like that, we'll work with you. And then for visiting, we all went over this, but again, please come visit us. It's convenient. We're all fairly close together. We're all open on a daily basis for individual tours. We're all doing social distancing and behaving so that it's safe for you to come to campus. I think all of us are using students to take students out on tour. So you do get to interact with students and get to ask them questions. Like, you know, we're all great. We have a lot of knowledge, but we've been out for a couple years, so we want you to hear it from young students who are currently experiencing what campus is like. And then, as we mentioned, it's easy, it's close. So we have Hollins over here in the green star, and this should be Randolph here with the University of Lynchburg with the red, or Randolph. Now I'm a little bit crazy.
Yeah, Lynchburg, that's okay.
Okay, and then Sweetbriar up here with the pink. So 3 of us that are very close together here in the Lynchburg general area, and then Roanoke over here not too far away. So we promised you could come up and take 2 days and visit both of, or all of us, a couple days per school, come up and see Sweetbriar and Hollins the same day, and maybe Randolph and University of Lynchburg the same day. And here is the contact information for all of us. So please, again, if you want to screenshot this so you have easy reference to our information. And now is when we would love to stop and take any questions that you haven't had a chance to ask. If you put something in the Q&A that hasn't been answered, or if you just want to raise your hand and put a question in now, please go ahead and do so.
I know you have some questions.
We've got Susan monitoring the Q&A for us.
Maybe not.
And it's okay. You know, it could have been something that we didn't actually talk about, but if you got a burning question, there are 4 of us here who are experts. We'd love to answer any questions that you have about the college search process in general.
We have one here, and do you have an architecture program? And Lynchburg does not. How about you guys?
Randolph does not have architecture.
Madeline, what about Hollins?
No, we do not, unfortunately.
Darn it.
Sweetbriar also does not have architecture. I think that for the most part, that is a graduate program. So I would say that probably most of us could give you the 4-year undergraduate that you would need to go on and do that master's program, whether you were doing studio arts and maybe math as undergraduate majors. But I'm pretty sure that's going to be something that you finish your 4-year degree and go on and do a master's degree for. So any one of us could be a great place to start for that. It's a great question. Any other questions about programs or when you might study something in undergraduate versus graduate or PhD programs? All right. Well, is there anything else we want to share that we might have left out before we wrap up and let everyone go?
I don't think so.
All right. Well, we just want to thank everyone again for sharing your time with us today. We hope we've given you some great tips to help you with this process. We would love to interact with you later and help you with any step in this process. Send us your questions, reach out, come visit us, meet us in person, any of the above. We'd love to help you keep this relationship going and help you with the process. We know that it's going to be a difficult spring, that it's been a difficult fall. So again, thank you for showing up for this virtual panel, and we hope that as things are calming down a little bit and it's safe to travel in your area, that you'll go ahead and start making those visits and getting to know us better. So thank you all for joining us today, and have a great rest of your week.
Thank